Hey everybody, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be looking at the upcoming E3 conferences starting on June 10th. I'm really excited for E3. E3 is kind of the big to-do video game conference that everyone tunes in for if you have any sort of interest in the video gaming industry or video games at all. I wanted to start off by just covering a pre-review, if you will, of the initial conferences, everything from EA to Microsoft to Bethesda to the PC to Nintendo and Sony. But I'm going to go down the list and go down in order and just kind of, tick off things that we know are coming, things to look out for, and things that we can hope for to see in these conferences. So the first one, unfortunately, in this conference is going to be EA, and not that I'm not a big EA fan. I'm not really a super fan of EA. I liked Star Wars Battlefront, and I've liked a couple other things they've done. But it feels like every time they have a conference come around, it always feels like it's, like, at least the first half, always feels super sports-centric. Like, we get our Madden, we get our FIFA, like, we get a hockey game. Like, we just get sports stuff. And I'm not really a guy who plays sports on, consoles or really on video games. I mean, I think I've played, a Madden 16 or whatever, a little bit with a friend at his house, but, like, never anything super serious. We'll see some FIFA, we'll see some Madden, we'll see the FIFA port on the Switch. I don't know if that's going to be specifically at EA's conference. Nintendo might want to bulk up their conference a little bit and maybe give that to themselves, but we'll see. But we will see sports stuff, so sports stuff will be there. Moving on, kind of the big thing that I think a lot of people are looking forward to in EA, if you're not into sports, is Battlefront II coming out this year. I believe it's in November. And I played the Battlefield 1, and I had a couple of people that played Battlefield 1. This one's touting a new campaign. We're going to have a brand new campaign that the first one just didn't have. Probably being about the same. We're going to see space battles, not in the traditional way that we saw in the OG Battlefront 2 in like 2003, I think, when it came that out. But we're going to see, you'll have, 24-person versus 24-person dogfights in the air or, in space. And you'll have, I think it was 64 on the ground, which I don't actually remember. I think Battlefront from EA, the first Battlefront from EA, only could do 24 to 24, so maybe they amped it up. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not, because, that would be like 64 stormtroopers and rebels, and I think you can do clone troopers and droids. You can probably do the droid decals and do the droid stuff, but that'll be interesting. We'll go back to more of the OG Battlefront and get a lot of factions. Maybe they'll cross-fight each other, like you'll see Imperials fight, droids for whatever reason, or Imperials fight, clone troopers, but we'll see where that goes. I'm assuming this is going to be the start of a yearly switch. If it wasn't already a start, we're yearly switching, so we're going to get, Battlefront this year, and then we're going to get whatever the next Battlefield will be next year, probably, and then we'll get a Battlefront 3 in 2019, and then we'll probably get a Battlefield 3 or whatever they'll call it then, in 2020. But that's just kind of how, I guess, this first-person shooter war syndrome is. You just have a company and they swap out making the game each year. But moving on, we're talking about a little bit about Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, this game, how do I put this lightly, had issues. It had issues, many issues at launch, with, weird wonky character models and a poor storyline, and the game suffered so much so that they ended up putting whatever the next, live service game that BioWare was touting to have coming out, they pushed that back. They pushed it back to next year. So we're not going to be seeing whatever this AAA, live service experience was going to be from BioWare, and we saw a little teaser clip of what it might entail, but it sucks to kind of see that pushed back, but that's, unfortunately, if you put out crappy game ports, or you put out crappy games and it doesn't get received well, usually the heads of the company go like, well, we messed up, we need to go back and look at this and see what we need to do. We're going to see stuff like Need for Speed Payback. I haven't, even when The Crew came out, I wasn't really super big. The Crew was fine. The Crew was okay, I admit. The Crew was a fine racing game at the time. Need for Speed Payback, like, maybe they're selling well and I just don't see that, but Need for Speed was alright back in the day, but I just have no more interest in the Need for Speed franchise, so not too big on this one. For things to maybe really hope for, and I really do hope we see them, would be maybe a new Dragon Age. I know that's really being optimistic. I don't think we will see like gameplay or anything, but maybe if we did see something, it would be like a teaser or something. I just feel like maybe after but BioWare, Mass Effect was so recent, so maybe not. Maybe we won't get that, but you can dream. And then the last thing is they teased last E3, I believe. We saw a little bit of a Star Wars like action game that they had somebody working on it at EA. I forget what the name of the whatever the publisher or whatever the game developer's name was. But they were working on like a action-ish, Star Wars game that looked a little like it might play like Uncharted, like kind of like Star Wars 1313, if you know what that is, where it was a scrapped project that looked like it was like a roguish Uncharted type of playing game, but you were like a rogue trader in Star System and you had to like shoot stuff. It just looked really cool. So maybe we'll see some more on this new Star Wars game. But other than that, unfortunately, this is going to be a short video because I just don't have a lot to say about EA's conference. It's the first one up. It's the one I'm looking forward to the least. Sure, I could see something new on Battlefront 2, but I kind of already know what I'm getting with Battlefront 2. Battlefront 1, a little bit better with a campaign, but I'm not expecting a ton of stuff coming out of EA, so that one will be the one I maybe just don't care about as much. For the times that are going to be happening, EA's conference will be on June 10th. It's a Saturday for you who don't know. In the UK, it'll be at 8 p.m. In Europe, it'll be 9 p.m. In the West Coast, it'll be 12 p.m. And then on the East Coast, it'll be 3 p.m. So keep that in mind if you want to tune in for EA's conference. I will be following this up with the rest of the conferences in daily order. So, we have the 10th is going to be EA. My next video will be on Microsoft, and then after that will be Bethesda. But this is just to keep you up to date and kind of my thoughts on what we're looking at pre-showing, and then this, of course, after the conference goes on, we'll have a post-show review, so we can learn a little bit more and we can discuss, and I can kind of tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, what I saw, and hopefully you guys can come to agree with me, or you can leave some comments down below to let me know what you're looking forward to at EA's conference, if you're looking forward to anything at E3. But other than that, I wanted to thank you guys for watching, and then I will talk to you later. Bye.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist.
We weren't expecting special forces.
That's the point, Sergeant.